Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Idris Ali here, instructor of the beautiful Tajweed course for Quran Academy. Alhamdulillah, we had a chance to connect with each other over the past few videos. In video number 1, we talked a lot about the struggles that many of us are having with Quranic recitation, why it's become so difficult for us to just open the Quran and begin reading freely, right? For many of us, we haven't been able to experience that joy of just flowing through the Quran. And it becomes a barrier in our relationship with the Quran that we can't get past that first step of being able to read and recite and enjoy the peace and tranquility that comes with that. For many of us, Tajweed has unfortunately become a barrier to the Quran and not something that facilitates an opening into the Quran, right? So we talked a bit about how we need to change our mindset, and bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, when we change our mindset, we change our approach, it enables us now to enter into a new relationship with the Quran with a new frame of mind, Then in the subsequent videos, we talked a bit about how we can achieve and find clarity in our voice through correcting the vowel sounds, the a, fatha, e, kasra, u, dhamma. And I hope you had a chance to actually put that into practice and try it out in your own recitation and see the difference that it makes. We talked a bit about the heavy sounds, the ah sounds, right? Khalidin, salihin, and how again, having this ability to go from heavy to light to heavy, it makes a difference in the recitation. It's the difference between Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, right? That type of sound is heavy where it should be light where it should be heavy. It sounds off. It doesn't sound like the beauty of the Quran, right? And that comes down to these simple sounds. A, E, U, Ah, right? We spoke a bit about a few common letter confusions. And I showed you how sometimes when you understand why you have one letter versus the other, it helps you to now think about the sounds you're making, right? And we mentioned only 2 examples, the tha and the sa, and the wa and the va. But this applies to other types of letters or other confusions that people have sometimes between Hamza and Ayn, right? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. We have some students, they recite to me, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil A'lameen, or Al-A'lameen, right? So they're confusing the Hamza with the Ayn. Sometimes the Ayn becomes a Hamza, sometimes the Hamza becomes an Ayn. And we have other examples of this, right? These letters that people commonly make mistakes on. So we touched on that. We mentioned also an example out of the rules of Noon. Noon with sukoon, that rhymes. Noon with sukoon followed by another letter. What do we do with the sound of Noon? Sometimes we recite it clearly, man, amana. Sometimes it becomes something different. Man ya'mal gets merged into the ya, right? And all of these rules, situational rules, show up in the recitation of the Quran, and they affect the sound and the beauty and the flow of the recitation. So I hope you had a chance to actually look at your own recitation and try to implement some of these things in your own recitation to see that difference. Alhamdulillah, here we are, and I want today to invite you to take the next step to transforming your relationship with the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through your recitation of the Quran. There are many ways to transform your relationship with the Quran. A person can pay attention to the meaning. A person can say, I want to learn Arabic. I want today to invite you to look at your recitation as that first step towards transforming your relationship with the Quran. Many students, they begin learning Tajweed. They begin reciting the Quran more, enjoying their own recitation. And what happens when you enjoy something, right? I gave the example in the early video about enjoying a sport. A person enjoys skiing, they're more likely to go skiing the next time they have a chance to go. A person enjoys snowboarding, or they're better at snowboarding, they'll keep doing snowboarding. People like to develop that skill. When you begin to enjoy the recitation and taste that sweetness of beautiful Tajweed, you'll find that you begin to recite the Quran more. You come to the Quran more with it, and it's enjoyable. You want to sit down, and 1 page turns into 2 pages turns into 3, and you find that relationship with the Quran growing. Then you want to know the meaning. What am I reading? And you start to grow in that direction, and so on, and so on. So I invite you today to check out the details on this page for our full-length Beautiful Tajweed course. What we've done so far in these few videos is but a sample of what we do in the full course, and it's but a sample of what we cover in the larger area of Tajweed. The rules of Noon, for example, we mentioned that's a fraction of the rules of Noon out of a fraction of the different types of situational rules we have in Tajweed. Throughout the beautiful Tajweed course, and a lot of you may have tried to study Tajweed before. What happens a lot, people try to study Tajweed, and many Tajweed courses are actually designed in a very traditional format, meaning I learned Tajweed from my sheikh this way, and alhamdulillah, I personally had the opportunity to study with many shuyukh, the science of Tajweed. But often what happens in a traditional class is that the knowledge is just kind of transmitted from one to another, right? And in some situations that makes sense. If a student wants to become a scholar of Tajweed, maybe you need to learn the names of the teeth in Arabic. Maybe you need to learn all of the different points of articulation, how to properly pronounce all the letters, right? So that might be covered in a traditional Tajweed class. What I've tried to do to make it easy for you to get that first step into Tajweed is to simplify the science of Tajweed. By the end of this course, we will cover all the main rules and concepts in Tajweed, but the most important thing, and the thing that, alhamdulillah, that excites me most about this course, right, and I designed the course, so I get excited about it, is that I've made it simple. And I've tried to cut through the clutter, cut through the noise that's sometimes present in Tajweed courses that leaves a student feeling overwhelmed, there's too much to memorize. Rather, my focus is trying to help you to understand why you get certain sound, why is this light over here and why is it heavy over there, right? A lot of times there's reasons for these things, and when you understand the reason in terms of how your mouth is moving, you build self-awareness, right? So when you sit down to recite now, you have a type of self-awareness that you know how the sound should sound and how to get yourself to do that sound as well, right? So we break down the science of Tajweed, make it simple for you to learn and to implement. We cover the last Surah Fatiha in detail and also the last 10 surahs of the Quran from Alam Tara Kaifa until the end. These are surahs that we all know, many of us know, we recite them in Salah, and if you practice it through this course, you make sure that when you're reciting in Salah, that you're reciting them correctly, and you enjoy it more. You lengthen where it should be lengthened, don't lengthen where it shouldn't be lengthened, the different rules, the versus the transitioning from heavy to light. So we'll do a lot of practice. This course it's not a lecture-based course where I just lecture you about Tajweed and you just take notes and you memorize theory. It's a very practical course, and we'll have fun together. I pause, you repeat, we do exercises together, I recite, you listen, you repeat after me. So it's an interactive video format, and you'll have a workbook to go along with it. Have gaps in the workbook, so as you're going along, it keeps you on track. You can follow along, take notes. You have extra practice exercises in the workbook. It'll be a fun time together, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and I invite you to check out the details and register, whether you're busy at home with kids, whether you're busy with work, whether you're in school and have exams. It's a flexible format. It's a self-directed program. You can study at your convenience, whenever it's easy for you. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, it's that first step into the science of Tajweed that will help you to turn a page on your recitation. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and I really, really wish this for you, that it becomes, Tajweed is no longer a barrier for you, that it's like, I don't know Tajweed, like it's difficult to approach the Quran, and it becomes instead something that is a new opening into the Quran. Register below. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.